What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Tonight I want to take a few minutes and talk about the things that I see common causes for high pressure fuel system failure on our 6.7 diesel. We got a few components that are going to be similar from 17 to 19, but here on the bench we have an 11 through 16 setup. Come with me tonight and let's talk about some of the things that we see as failures in this high pressure fuel system. Alright, you guys, let's go. Alright guys, welcome back. There are some things that I want to talk about for the high pressure fuel system on the 6.7 liter. I know that we have all been running high pressure fuel for some time now, and I know that all brands are going to have their problems. But some of the things that I see failing these high pressure fuel system components is poor fuel quality, number one. Fuel filter maintenance, number two. And number three, I don't get a lot of it, but the occasional person who puts DEF in their fuel system. That is the worst thing that you could do. I've had them come in with gasoline, I've drained the tank, flushed the lines, put filters in, and everything has been okay. Haven't ever seen the truck back. I've had times where water has gotten ingested and has caused rust all over this component where it is not supposed to have rust. Now this one's been sitting on the bench for quite some time, but rust on this side is okay, rust on this side is not okay. I think DEF by far is the number one worst. Everything in the whole fuel system has to be replaced. Water would be probably my next culprit, then gasoline, but I do not get that too often. So as you can see, I don't know, for anybody who doesn't know what the underneath of their hood valve cover area looks like, but we have all of our fuel injectors. I'm sorry for the background noise. All of our fuel injectors are screwed on to a fuel rail via this line, and they are all one-time use only lines. However, I have reused them for testing purposes and then, replaced the line for final assembly. But each of them go to the injectors, and they are all connected to this fuel rail. Each side of the engine has their own fuel rail. The driver's side is bigger. The driver's side has three components in it, and I didn't know if you were all aware of this. The front side of the driver's side fuel rail, we have our FRP sensor, our fuel rail pressure sensor. This is the eyes to the PCM or the ECU, whatever you want to call it, and telling how much fuel pressure is in this log, in this rail, in the whole system. This is our main eyes. It does nothing but just relay information from point A to point B up at the computer. That's its only job. At the back of the rail, part number two, this is the pressure control valve. We have to build different pressures for the engine to run. We need 5,000 psi-ish to be running at idle. You see like 47-ish, but first, right off the rip to start, we need 5,000. At wide open throttle, you could be at 30,000 psi. That is high pressure. That is tolerances, very, very tight, and I cannot emphasize how crucial it is for fuel filter maintenance. People just don't understand. For us to achieve that pressure, this is the part that controls that. And the third part in this rail is an orifice. I have never cut this rail open before. I have heard that the orifice in here can become dislodged and affect the ability for this part to build the correct amount of pressure in here. So we're going to do that tonight. And we're also going to talk about the method in which you tighten this component. This is the pressure control valve. When you get it new, it has a certain procedure in order to seat and even etch into the sealing surface of this fuel rail to properly create the seal needed to generate that pressure. So real quick, while we're talking about it, the fuel pressure control valve, the one that we were showing at the rear of the driver's side fuel rail, you need to tighten that nut to 44 foot-pounds, loosen it 90 degrees, and then retighten it to 63. And it's also indicating there with that note, hold the fuel pressure control valve electrical connector in the desired orientation and tighten in 3 stages. So for that to be properly torqued, it is very, very crucial that that procedure gets followed, or you will have a pressure problem or even a fuel leak. Some of the things that will cause your vehicle to no start would be a check engine light accompanied with a P0087, a P0088, and most likely probably a P2291 for ICP or FRP too low while cranking. So like I was explaining to you in the beginning, that fuel rail pressure of 5,000 psi is very, very crucial in order to even get the truck to start and for you to even able to adjust the pressure via these sensors and this one that we're going to talk about. If a truck were to come in for a no start problem and I saw that it was only building, let's say 500 psi, I know I have a high pressure fuel system problem. For one, the number one thing you're going to want to do is get you a clear and clean glass container. Take a fuel sample. What does your fuel look like? This is going to be your variable that you are going to look at, and this is probably the most likely cause of your no start on why you're only building 500 psi. Once you are able to verify fuel quality, the next thing that you're going to do is to remove the intake manifolds from your 6.7 diesel. You are going to be in the vehicle and looking for this high pressure fuel pump. Once you take the intake manifolds off, you are going to see this pump sitting in the vehicle like this. You're going to see some fuel lines coming off of this. You are going to want to take, now these bolts are kind of hard to get to and you cannot put a socket on them, or a long Torx bit I should say. So what I have got is a very, very long T25. Is that what these bolts are? T25. So you'll see when you're in the vehicle, this coolant crossover tube that is right here isn't going to allow you to get your base of your bit that is holding your Torx in this location. So you're forced to either take the coolant crossover or have this long setup like I do. Once you get those bolts out, you are going to want to twist and pull this out. This has been sitting on the bench for some time and you can see it looks dirty, but you can see some metal glitter paint on there right there. This was from a failed fuel system and wound up having to have everything replaced. Just to add, I wanted to, talking about fuel, I wanted to add, I guess I should say, some of the more things that I see. I haven't really seen, I should say, an auxiliary mounted fuel tank causing this concern, but I have had a customer who had drums of fuel at their shop, and that is what they used to fuel their trucks. That is what caused the contamination. We don't want to get in the habit of using if if it is a reputable setup and somebody is continuously monitoring the filtration system on this auxiliary on-site fuel tank, then by all means, use it at your own risk. But know that that is just a situation waiting to happen that doesn't need to happen, because our fuel quality in our 6.7s has to be number one. So I know you guys already know this. I just need to emphasize how crucial this is, because this stuff is going to be like 11 G's, $12,000 with parts and labor and cores and fuel disposal and yada yada. I just don't want to see you guys down this road. I've been contacted many times from subscribers saying that they've had issues with fuel and what they got going on. My first thing I tell them, take your intakes off, pull this out. In that port, do you see metal glitter paint? Yes, and that is not good. And yeah, so please make sure that you guys are keeping up on your fuel filters maintenance and filling up at a place that has a high turnaround rate. You don't want to fill up at a mom and pop store that's been, look like a ghost town. Get you a spot, Flying J, Pilot, those other ones I can't think of right now, some BPs. I know Speedway in my area, locale, is got some good turnaround rates for good diesel fuel. Tell me in the comment section, has anybody had to replace their high pressure fuel system on their 6.7? What was the cause of it? Did you accidentally put DEF in the fuel tank while you were on the phone? Did you let your wife fill your truck up? Did you let your teenage son fill your truck up? What happened? Tell me. Let's talk about it. Not to bring light to the situation, but to bring light to the situation in the manner of, let's use it as a teaching. Let's use it as an example for people to learn from the costly mistake that you did. It's nothing, it happens, people. It's nothing to be mad about. I mean, yeah, at that point in time you're going to be mad, but I mean, it happens, and that's what we're here for. I want to cut this fuel rail open, and the reason why I want to do that, this particular vehicle that came in was a 2013 F350. It had about 120,000 miles on it and was deleted. And I should say it wasn't deleted before he had this problem. He was getting a P208C or something fuel rail that has exceeded learned limits or some weird code. I've never had it before, and this one really threw me for a loop, because it was making pressure but not the right pressure. When I was doing the high pressure fuel system test, and that would be a good video to show you guys, because I haven't shown you on IDS the high pressure fuel system test, but when I was doing it and it was commanding 30,000 psi, it was only building like 21-ish and was throwing it into the red. 3 parts of the test failed, and I was just pulling my hair out. I'm like, what the heck is going on? I immediately went for this. Didn't have any metal glitter paint. I removed and inspected this, and the customer said, you know what, if you're taking it out, just put a new one in. Followed the torque procedure, and I still was having the same problem. I'm like, well, what the heck is going on? What do I do? Go through the pinpoint test again? Something in this fuel rail is messed up. I don't know what it was. I feel 100% confident that my torquing procedure was correct, dead nuts on for the PCV. But after talking with Ford and going back and forth with possible scenarios and reports that they have had, this fuel rail was suspect. This fuel rail was replaced. This fuel rail fixed the problem. This fuel rail let the truck build the 29,000 psi, almost 30,000 psi that it needed to pass the test. All 6 parts passed, green, cleared, trucks on the road, making money, done. What is going on with that fuel rail? I've even heard that the fuel rails that they're getting, they're bad. I don't know what's going on. There's nothing, I mean, I had personally never heard of this orifice dislodging or becoming bad. And I replaced the fuel rail and it fixed it. So where is it? I don't know how easy this is going to be to cut open. I don't know if it's here or if it's here. I think what I want to do is maybe, I'm going to try cutting it right here. I'm going to cut this whole end off. And I know metal shavings are going to go everywhere, but I mean, I want to see. I don't think that orifice is going to be this way. I think it's going to be from here backwards. So I'm going to try to get this set up. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this on camera, but let's cut open this fuel rail and see what the heck is going on. All right, here we go. So I got it in the... And I'm going to give it my all. Like I said, I'm going to try to cut it around here. I don't know how big of a mess this is going to make or what this is going to cause. But here we go. Okay, looks like it's just making a good cut. Continuing. Okay, still cutting. I don't know if I got fuel leaking out yet, but I'm starting to see a little hole in it. Let's see here, I need a different light perspective. No, I'm not getting yet. Must not be halfway through. Or not halfway through, but you know what I mean. What about now? Still nothing. I wish I had freaking bandsaw or something. I don't got that kind of stuff. Could have used a sawzall. I don't have that here either. What are we working with? Still nothing. Okay, we're 3 minutes in. Gonna need to put a new disc on. Okay, I think I start to see the hole now. Yep, there's the hole. Okay, now we just need to cut all the way through. I see the bore hole all the way through. Let's, I'm gonna try cutting it the rest of the way. Am I bending it? Oh. Not yet. This thing is blocking me. Okay. Oh. Nope, not yet. Okay. We got it off. We got it off, you guys. Let me see. I don't have anything to compare this to. I don't know what a correct one is supposed to look like, but this is kind of hard. for me to even see down in there. There is supposed to be an orifice in here that can become dislodged. I don't know how to see if it's become dislodged, but it's kind of hard for you guys to see in there. I wonder if I turned my light on if you guys can see. Okay, I see it better than I can. I don't know if that is the orifice, if the fuel, that can't be the end of this. That's what the end of the PCV looks like, but that's not the end of the PCV. That would be like right here. So I can't really answer my question. I don't know where the orifice is. Has anybody else had to cut this open? I've heard of it. I don't know of it. Let me go this way. Let me see if it looks any different if I take. I didn't look in this angle. Just a tube. Just a tube all the way through. Okay, so we know the orifice. The orifice has to be here. So let's thread this guy in. Let's see if I can pop this loose. I don't have my other wrench over here. There we go. I think I'll be able to do it. How do you guys take your PCVs out? Okay. So this one was only used for a short while for testing, and then after we cut. So here's the other side. Oh wow, that must have been the PCV. I'll be damned. I didn't think it was that far in there, but my mistake, I guess it was. So I guess really is the orifice in here? Is it down in this brass piece? Is that the problem? Can we see my finger? We can. Where's this dislodged orifice that I'm hearing? Maybe it is not in this end. I know I heard some guys talking about having to cut this open in class, but there's nothing else in here. There's nothing else in here. This is just a hole all the way through, unless I'm wrong. I don't know, guys. Tell me what you think. 6.7 fuel system. We've cut it open. I was almost going to assume that the orifice was down here in the back end, but I guess I'm wrong at this time. Guess we did this more for not teaching, but to talk about the things that I see go wrong with the 6.7 fuel system. It is not the CP4 pumps. Something causes those internet CP4 pumps to go bad, guys. Come on, man. And you know this, man. Drop me a like. Tell me what you think about this in the comment section. If anybody's ever had to replace their high pressure fuel system because of contamination, make sure to like, comment, sub, share, and get ready for the podcast with PTT. Check my email out below and see if you guys can get on the show. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next Friday. See you.